My friends, I have a 5-string galvanized mechanical gadget in the shop, and we're going to have to work on some of the gadgetry. I'll tell you all about it right after this. Hello my friends, Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works workshop. Yeah, we've got a gadget. That's what I call these things, 5-string galvanized mechanical gadgets, because there's so much mechanical stuff on them. Though I always say anybody can work on one of these as long as you have every tool that Sears ever put out. We always make fun of the banjos and the banjo players. It's just part of bluegrass. I mean, that's just the way it is. Problem with this one, or the reported problem, is that it detunes while playing. So that's the reason it's in here. I thought it was a setup, and we're going to look at the setup just to make sure it's okay, but the real reason is that it is detuning. That should be relatively easy to fix, but then again, you don't ever really want to say that on video, because anytime you say something like that on video, it typically turns out to be a jinx. But I'm not very superstitious, so we'll see what we can do about that. It's got those detuners on it where you can, while you're playing, turn these keys and to certain points. Now, I'm not an expert on those and the use of those, but the function of all these keys should be about the same. And really, to keep them from detuning, it's generally just tightening up these screws. Now, the problem I see already, though, is that one of these screws has been tightened already and the plastic is cracked. So, I don't know if you can see that in there or not, but this one has, I think it's this one, has been tightened up and the plastic is actually cracked. I don't think this is above my pay grade to fix, but I'm not 100% sure I know how to fix it yet either, so we'll just get down here and get busy and see what we can figure out. First, I think what I'll try doing is tuning it up and then just playing it a lot and watching the tuner here and see if I see the needle going down or anything, or if I can tell that it's going down. So far that one's holding. There's the B. That one seems to be holding at the moment. Notice this one's cracked across here too. So there's some real problems with all these keys cracking. That may be the whole problem. It's just that you have to be able to tighten this down in order to keep these things from detuning. So I'm going to just off camera play with this a little bit and see if I would happen to have any replacement keys for this that will work, because this one's cracked up quite a bit right here. I can tell, the 5th string one, and there's cracks on some of the others. So let me do some playing around off camera, and I'll get back with you here in a minute and see what we can come up with. Well, I looked in all my spare parts that people have sent me over the years. I couldn't really find anything that would match. I mean, I found things that I could probably use, but they didn't really what I call match. Well, like they would just be a different kind of plastic that just didn't really look like it went with this style banjo. So I'm just not going to go there. as I'm playing with this piece of plastic is loose. It's flipping back and forth and the screw is staying still. So right there is a problem. I don't know if that's the case here or not. This one's broke too. No, that one there seems to be tight. I really don't know where to start with this. I guess it's not going to get fixed just looking at it, so I'll go ahead and tune it down. There we go. That string was being held there. I was wondering why it was still making a noise. It was just held under the little clip there. So I'm going to get a screwdriver and take that out. This plastic piece here is definitely broken badly, so we've got some issues here for sure. I have a feeling this may come apart when I take the screw out of it. It's so broken. Yeah, you can see it even opening up there probably. I guess the first option I have is just to glue it with CA glue. That's probably the best option I've got right at the moment. So I'm going to start there. Off camera, I sucked up a little CA glue inside this little, oh, I forget what you call these things now. I'll just call it a dropper. And that's to try to help control the flow of the CA glue, even though there's not much that helps the flow of CA glue. It just does its own thing most of the time. And that's kind of true here right now. I can tell already, and it's already sticking to my hands. Probably should have used rubber gloves. Find the accelerator. I'll just hold that pinch together there. I think I got glue down in there really well. And I'll keep it held together there for a few seconds even after the accelerator has done its thing. I think that's okay. Yeah, that does seem okay. Now I didn't do this other side yet. Let's see if we can get to that now. Kind of in hindsight, wished I would have got the CA glue on both sides at the same time before I hit it with the accelerator, but you know, stuff happens. That might fix some of the problem, you just never know. Get the extra glue off. That way you won't feel it. Believe that worked. See if the screw fits back down in the hole. That looks like that's going to work. At least we've made progress. Whether or not it's going to fix the real problem, I don't know. Let's see here. Let's tighten this down. I would say the odds are if it broke before it was glued, it'll probably break again, and that's just the truth of it. So let me tighten this up to pitch. Well, that got rid of the play in this, for now anyway. Will that fix it? I don't know. It's really hard to say because this plastic, once it cracks, I would say the odds are it's going to crack again. So more than likely I'm just going to have to give him an advice to just order new tuner buttons. Yeah, both of these are actually cracked. I see both of them are cracked. So I'm going to detune this one also. And let's see, we'll detune this one too. Try the same thing on this one. We'll get glue on it and try to close it up. Now the screw's stuck in this one. I think what happened was the crack opened up on the button and the screw got pushed down in there so far, and then the plastic crimped the screw. I don't know if this is going to really do anything or not, to be honest. I'm kind of skeptical. I mean, I know what the problem is, I just don't have a way to fix it really easy without having new tuning buttons. Thing is, now the crack on this one that was real obvious before, it's not obvious now that I have the pressure off of it. So I don't know if I can open it with this or not. I can't see the crack anymore. I'd almost have to put it back on there to get the crack to open back up. I know where the crack is. I can see it going down inside there, but it's not very open. Only thing I can try to do is put some CA glue on it and hope for the best. I don't have a lot of faith that that's going to fix it, I got to be honest with you. Alright, I've got it snug, but I wouldn't call that tight. Let's see what happens when we tighten the string. You know, something I just noticed here, that the front of this nut is all chiseled off. Now, I don't know if they did that for intonation purposes or if that's just broken, but it's not right. I can tell you that for sure. If they did it for intonation purposes, it's just done wrong. That's not going to fix the problem. If this is just broken, it just needs to be fixed. I guess I better talk to the customer about that, because that's not right. It's just busted. So on the Banjo, I've put a call into the customer to see what he wants to do about these tuning keys. I really think they need to be replaced. In addition, this nut here is busted really badly, as you can maybe see there. It's just chopped up like, and I think that needs to be replaced. So I've got to call in to ask him about that also. I didn't show putting them on, but as you can see, I've got the new tuner buttons on this thing. The only thing I had to do was, you can see there was a countersink in the ends of the old ones. So I put the countersink in these, and I just used a drill like this. I just held the button like this and just kind of worked it on that countersink as I spun the drill there. It worked out just very easy. I am now setting the action for the strings. I've made the new nut and got the new nut in here. Did a lot of work off camera. Just trying to finish up this. I've just got this instrument and one more guitar, and then I'm taking a break from the work on instrument work for a while I do things on the farm. I think that's about it. That looks good. Let's see about this one here. Just a little bit on that one too. Little bit goes a long way, so you don't want to go too much. It looks pretty good there too. I think that's going to do it. Let me get her tuned up, and then we'll see if we can play a little bit on it for you so you can hear what it sounds like. Well, this was a fairly straightforward, simple repair. And all we had to do was fix the tuning buttons on this because they were going out of tune. Also got an injured finger, so it's hard to hold a pick. I got all kinds of excuses why I can't play a banjo, mostly because I just can't play a banjo. I don't think he'll have any more trouble with it. He was concerned that the neck was loose. I checked the neck when I had all the tension off, and I don't see any problem with the neck at all. I'm 99% sure that it was all a tuner button issue because they were all cracked and broken. You know, like I said, the only way you can hold tension is to turn the screw in tighter. If they're all broken and the screw's not holding the tension, well, then as soon as one turns loose, that puts even more tension on the other ones that are broke, and then they turn loose. So he said they all turn loose at the same time. Well, that makes sense to me. So that's what I think the problem was. All three of those other keys were broken. And now that we've got those replaced, it ought to be good for quite a while at least. In hindsight, I wished I wouldn't have countersunk these. I wished I would have got different screws with flat heads, or with a flat inside, if you will, so that because that countersink wants to spread the plastic out, if you stop and think about it. That's probably what broke those to begin with. If this would ever be a problem again in the future, it might be better to replace the buttons and not countersink them and just put on flat screws that would just butt up flat. I think that would be a big improvement actually, but I didn't think of that until after I'd already done it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the repair. I think this will last a long time. At least it's no worse off than it was when it came from the factory. And it should last quite a long time. These look like pretty good buttons. I don't think they'll split and break like the other ones did. Thank you so much for watching. How about clicking that thumbs up? And if you would subscribe, that would be helpful as well. Thank you.